Hello everyone, it is Snuffster Network, aka Snuffy, back with another episode of In The Diecast Draft, and we're here on the Stop Motion Radio Network. Third episode for the show, and second day in a row of me recording. Yeah, I'm outside for the third episode again. It works, it's a little cold here, but my recording time in this woods now for these episodes is now, by the end of this episode, it should add up to about an hour. But we have a fun episode today because 5 days ago, the ACS Racing Network channel posted a NASMAR Community Cup Series playoff race, and as the comments said, I apologize, doesn't help that there's airplanes flying over. Yeah, but as the comments said, it is the crossover of a century, or whatever they said. It is a pretty cool crossover to see, though. Of course, the planes decide to start flying in the area right when I start recording. Just my luck. But oh my gosh. I think you guys can still hear me. But yeah, it's NASMAR Community Cup Series playoffs now. I definitely have not kept up with the season as much as I should be, but I'm going to cover the rest of it, hopefully. I've seen some races. I saw Chicago, for example. If you watched episode 1 of the show, you heard me mention that. At one point, Saray Cup Series did the Chicago Street Course. Just a lot of big and small name creators have been doing it, and now we have probably the biggest one to do a race. The ACS Racing Network, one of the OGs, right up there with Eric Estep. One of the pioneers of NASCAR stop motion racing, and he did the Homestead race. And as you can see on screen, what you've been looking at for the first 2 minutes of me rambling here in the woods is the playoff bracket coming into the event at Homestead with the round of 8. And coming into the race, Kyle Busch, the defending race winner, locks his way into the championship 4. So he has a guaranteed spot to race for a championship. Chase Elliott comes into this race plus 11. And let's just say the day doesn't go how he wanted it to go. Tyler Reddick comes in plus 8. And Ryan Blaney, the real-life NASCAR Cup Series champion, comes into the race 4th in points, plus 7 to the cut line. Bubba Wallace comes in minus 7 in 5th, and he's really the only one within striking distance unless fate twists itself in the direction of the other 3, with Brad Keselowski being minus 22, Kyle Larson being minus 27 going into the race, and Kevin Harvick makes it to the round of 8, but sits minus 29 points coming into the event at Homestead. So let's get into taking a look at the race and analyzing it. So I've already seen it once. It's a good race, and it's very chaotic. So we'll just kind of let it play here so we can talk about the field a little bit, because that's kind of something I've just done with the last ones. I did that with the truck race. I talked about some of the entries. So yeah, that's a good thing for Tyler Reddick there. He comes in the round of 8, like I talked about. I'm pretty sure. He comes in and he gets the pole. So that's just perfect for him. A pole position at Miami, and then you can see alongside him, right there, the Cheddar's car, Kyle Busch. He's already locked up a spot, so he could crash head-on into the wall on the first lap. His engine could blow up. Anything could go wrong for him. And he's already locked up a spot in the final 4. So that's good for him.
Sitting pretty good with a very fast Toyota Camry on the pole. Kyle Larson, like we mentioned, has some ground to make up, but a perfect racetrack to make that.
Yeah, so Kyle Larson, it looks like he's starting the race from the 5th position. Again, as ACS said, oh my gosh, the stupid airplanes. Hopefully, I'm putting this at a point where you can still hear me. But Kyle Larson's there. Yeah, I can't with this. I'm sure the mic is picking it up at least a little bit. It picks up the cars that drive by. I think it's picking up jet airplanes. What an inconvenience for me, I guess. Because now we're 5 minutes in and we haven't even got to the race itself. So let's keep going.
Extremely fast and really good. Look for Larson to be ripping the high side. A non-playoff driver, a driver that exited the playoffs earlier in the season. Martin Truex Jr. Fast.
Yeah, so in the NASMAR series, Truex did not advance to the round of 8.
And then Carson Hocevar, kind of an underdog pick from the booth here. Look for Carson to get in the mix, hopefully, in today's race.
So yeah, you see Carson Hocevar racing NASMAR now. They're matching it up with real life pretty well. Even though you can see the Gregson name tag on the car, it is not Gregson driving.
Now we're going to go trackside for the command.
Yeah, so he gives the command here.
Start your engine!
Oh, so we're at Miami with 2 pit roads. That's interesting.
And we will check out that starting lineup.
So let's take a look at the field a little bit. Mainly normal entries.
On the pole is Tyler Reddick, and to his outside, last week's winner, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of look through here. Of course, we got Hocevar in the field. Love that Chastain car. I have that Harvick one. Is that a that looks like a...
Ryan Preece and Ryan Newman.
Yeah, that's a custom for sure.
Especially being behind that cut line, Stenhouse and McDowell. Then we have Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney, the 2 deepest starting playoff drivers.
Yeah, so he got the Ryans starting all in succession. Blaney, then Preece, and then Newman. It's a pretty cool looking Newman car there, for sure.
Cole Custer, Ryan Preece and Ryan Newman.
Yeah, so having Ryan Newman makes sense. He did run this race in real life. Probably his best finish of the season.
And AJ Allmendinger and Harrison Burton. There's Ty Dillon next to Anthony Alfredo.
Cool, interesting to put Alfredo in the field.
JJ Yaley and Todd Gilliland.
And of course Yaley. Okay, so Anthony Alfredo in the field is an interesting choice. So a total of 12 laps for the Ford EcoBoost 400. 3 stages. We don't always see stages in stop motion racing, but stages of 3 laps, and a 6-lap final stage for this race.
Stage 1 and stage 2 will both be 3 laps, and then the final stage
so we'll take a look at this here and go over this race.
Here we go.
So they take the green right here.
Green flag is in the air as the ACS presents the NASMAR.
And a good jump for Tyler Reddick right away, and then we see Christopher Bell having to go up, slide, block the outside line. A big contact there to Ty Gibbs. That's going to be important in a minute. Get ready for that. So you saw that contact. It sent Gibbs' tire down, I believe. So you're going to see, yep, there it is. There's the first bit of chaos of the day, and he almost takes out Byron. So that, yeah, if he I only really know that because I've seen this, and he talks about it in the replay. It goes back. But there was contact between 2 of the JGR cars with Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs. And Ty Gibbs, I guess, had a tire go down or something. You saw him wiggle there. It was in frame. You could definitely see the wiggle out of his race car. And ultimately, it leads to him crashing up into the outside wall. And this is only scratching the surface of what's going to happen later on. So, Ty Gibbs, the Interstate Batteries, Toyota. He just said what I said. Basically, yeah, that's just big hit into the wall. And look how close it was. He almost hit the 24. So he's going underneath the 5. He loses it. That's when the tire goes down. He hits the wall. Truck gets by. And then he spins down. And very close call. Byron's having to duck down onto that access road. Yeah, there's the original contact. Cool to see that he had like a different camera angle. So yeah, the JGR car is roughing it up with each other. So that's what takes out Ty Gibbs, and he gets last place at Homestead. And they go back to green with Tyler Reddick at the front. Alongside his team motor Denny Hamlin. Big run by... Oh, yeah, that's there. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. Byron's wreck avoidance for the first caution was a complete waste almost, because he just gets taken out right on the restart. And we see multiple good cars get taken out of here. We saw Bell running up front. He gets wrecked out hard. Chase Elliott, he comes into the race second in points. Needs a good day. And what he gets is a wreck. So, see, Kyle Busch, he had already locked his way into the Final Four, so his wreck doesn't really matter.
Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch.
So we'll have to take a look at that replay again and break that down a bit.
Chase Elliott
So, yeah, Buescher's also in it.
Devastating to Chase Elliott.
So, all right. So at least Byron was able to continue. So, I guess it was kind of worth it. Good thing he made it away from the Gibbs incident unscathed, because he still does get to continue. Alex Bowman, another Hendrick car involved. So really, the only Hendrick car there's only one Hendrick car that slipped through that, and that would be Larson,
Who was sitting second in
I
points
believe.
heading into today's
Yeah, Larson's
race.
right there. He avoids it. Bell just gets loose. He's racing with Jones, and Larson goes around right here. You can see Truex kind of gets up in the wall, but it collects Byron. And that's when he kind of goes back up the track. He gets Elliott. Elliott's caught on the outside lane. Kyle Busch, you can see him spinning around there. And Bell gets off the ground. So for the second episode in a row, 2 days in a row, actually, we're going to see a car get airborne, but both times does not go fully over. Both times it's kind of like that. Not quite as bad as what we saw happen to Sanchez in yesterday's episode. Buescher, oh yeah, that's how Bowman got collected. Buescher kind of went around, caught Bowman up against the outside wall, and
Byron gets caught up in it.
Bowman's able to, yeah, so there's the spin. He's rubbing doors. Truex is lucky to get out of this, but you see the angle Byron was at. He's going to get caught. Yup, sends him around. Right up the track for Kyle Busch. And where Chris Buescher's at, racing with Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch turns Chris Buescher up head on into the wall. Bowman doesn't get as much damage. Look at Eric Almirola. Didn't notice that the first few times I saw this crash. So you can see Wallace and Logano get through. Almirola all the way down onto the access road. Somehow slips through, but Kyle Busch ends up out. Christopher Bell ends up out of the race as well. And Chris Buescher, who took a hard hit to the outside wall. Chase Elliott. Oh, of course. We get an ad on it, and it's a NASCAR related ad. This is the ad they play during the races. Of course. The first time in stop motion radio network history we have to watch an ad on air. Get to watch NASCAR ad and races. All right. Yeah, so Bowman able to continue. Byron able to continue as well. So stage one gets cut short. They really didn't get much racing there. So to no surprise, Tyler Reddick, the pole sitter, he wins stage one. Denny Hamlin gets a strong second. Kyle Larson holds on for third. Eric Jones ends up in fourth in the stage. Martin Truex Jr., who barely escaped getting involved in that, he finishes in fifth. You can see Bubba Wallace on the right there. He made it past the wreck. He gets sixth. Joey Logano seventh. Eric Almirola eighth. Ross Chastain ninth. And Carson Hocevar gets a top 10 in stage one.
Same with William Byron able to continue on as well. So Reddick was the stage.
So that, yeah, right here is just talking about the same thing I just talked about, but in less detail. So stage two, another 3-lap stage, and it's between two Toyotas on the front row to see who wins stage two. So you can see a car instantly down to the inside. That's Larson. He gets a huge jump. Hamlin's all the way back down to fifth, I believe. Yeah, he had a terrible restart because you can see Logano going around him there as well. Get a whole field view there. I saw Ryan Newman doing pretty well. So Larson's trying to pass Tyler Reddick. Reddick up into the wall almost. He gets forced up to the outside now. Larson got put in the wall. You can see this was a toe-to-toe battle, and Truex is there. Truex was definitely there. Tries to slide drop him there, and Larson ends up in third. And that was a very fast stage too. Didn't even pause it to break it down once. It was just a rapid, actual green flag run. Something we hadn't seen so far, considering we saw Ty Gibbs just get obliterated at the beginning. And then right on the restart to try to finish the stage, they piled up. So good, clean, aggressive, well-done racing throughout stage two. It was very smoothly filmed. It was good racing all around. And we see shuffling everywhere. Hamlin restarts on the front row. He gets dropped kicked down to fifth or lower. Looked like Logano was going for fifth on him last time I saw him in frame. And we saw a good battle up front. And then Larson gets passed by Truex. And this is going to set up a good 6-lap finish.
At Homestead.
So we'll take a look at the Stage 2 results, see how the board shuffled there.
Incredible drive by both
Oh, actually, no. The first thing he does is show this replay. These two were going at it for sure. Look at that.
Foreshadowing what's to come for these final 6 laps.
Lots of contact being made. Truex ends up getting clear. So here's the results for Stage 2. Tyler Reddick wins again. So he picks up a lot of additional points, assuming the series is paying extra points for that. So having a good points day there. Truex gets second, Larson third, Eric Jones in fourth for that stage. Joey Logano finishes fifth. Bubba Wallace sixth, Ross Chastain seventh. Denny Hamlin all the way down to 8th after restarting second. After in just a 3-lap sprint, he drops almost out of the top 10. Brad Keselowski gets 9th, and Carson Hocevar showing that he's good enough to contend in NASMAR. He gets 10th place.
Stage 2 results, Reddick gets the win.
So really interesting there, seeing what he can do.
Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski getting some much needed stage.
Yeah, so now he's just saying the same things I just said, but much more brief. So Tyler Reddick trying to get into the championship 4. Assuming they are getting stage points, though, I think he's had a great points day, which will definitely benefit him. He's picked up 20 bonus points, but a win, and you're in, and that's what he's ultimately aiming for. Now all he has to do is hold on for 6 more laps. So let's show you guys how that played out, assuming you're not one of the over 1,000 people who's already seen it. So Reddick had a terrible restart, though, and you see contact back there. Suarez on the wall. Oh, I honestly missed this on my first watch. Logano. Go back and rewatch that, because I don't remember if he showed a replay of that or not. So on the restart, we'll analyze the restart a little bit there. They're side by side. Logano's on row 3. Reddick gets drop kicked back. Now what happens to Logano? Suarez up in the wall, and Logano just gets turned down to the inside wall by Ross Chastain, it looked like. Then Logano is trying to get up the track. More contact with Chastain and the 4 of Kevin Harvick, but he does get turned down towards pit lane. But just not what Joey Logano wanted from that day. So now here's the battle for the lead. Eric Jones, we've seen him up there all day. Wasn't going to spoil what he was going to try to show up and do, but here he is. He's going after Truex for the race lead. Now they're going around here again on lap 9, and Jones gets clear for the race lead. And then Truex back on the bottom. So we seeing Legacy Motor Club perform fantastically in this race. You can see Logano still on pit road. So I guess he does finish the race. But then we see Jones kind of fall back a bit. Larson's back on the charge. Reddick's still in the mix. There's Denny Hamlin in frame. He's caught back up. Good racing throughout the field. Look at him. Look how far up the leaderboard Ryan Newman is. Holy cow. Ryan Newman definitely outperforming his equipment. Larson gets a run on the outside. Oh. They try to slide job it. And on the last lap, it's between Reddick and Kyle Larson, and then Reddick gets into the wall. Reddick had such a good chance. Won both the stages after winning the pole. Fell back a bit, but he had worked his way back up on the final lap. And he gets turned up into the wall and screws over a perfect day to try to advance to the NASMAR Community Cup Series championship race. And he loses a ton of spots there. And up front, Eric Jones just gets so far ahead, nobody else can contend. Reddick loses a lot of spots. There's Hocevar. There's Newman making more moves. Here's the whole field flyby. Logano did get back out on track. Bad day for Todd Gilliland. Last car on the lead lap, it would appear. So a burnout for Eric Jones. He must have messed up when editing this, because if you look on the graphic, it says Petty GMS Motorsports, which he almost calls them, and he corrects it to Legacy Motor Club. So they are running under Legacy, I'd assume, for the NASMAR Community Cup Series. But he did put Petty GMS, which is kind of funny. There's the little winner's trophy. So I think he shows, he shows it right here. Reddick goes to the bottom, tries to slide job him, and he gets up into the wall. He wasn't all the way clear. He tried to pull the slide job move and was not completely clear at all. Gets up into the wall. Larson loses spots in that too. Yeah,
Larson
Reddick
is definitely not going to
he
lift
just
either.
clipped the left front of
Not that
Kyle
he
Larson's
should.
car. You can see Larson lose some spots.
Might have been in his best interest to
Hold up,
lift
is that
there,
Alex
but
Bowman
it's
I
tough to
saw?
tell because Eric Jones had a
No,
run
never
as well.
mind.
We're going to check out those playoff standings. Let's
That
see
wouldn't have
where
made
those
sense.
drivers
So
line
I
up
actually
now
also
after that
forgot to
finish.
look at this on my first watch. The playoff standings. Tyler Reddick, as I was saying, he picked up a lot of points. And there he is, getting up to second in the standings. Bubba Wallace third, and Ryan Blaney holds on to fourth. Kyle Larson now fifth in points. Brad Keselowski sixth. Chase Elliott came in second in points. He drops to seventh, minus 26. And Kevin Harvick still there in eighth, only minus 27. Well, not only, but minus 27. So he could move up in the grid a little bit. We'll see what he can do at the next race, which I believe is the regular season finale at Martinsville.
Chase Elliott, who was second, now drops
So here, let's take a look at the race results for the Homestead race and go over that a bit. Eric Jones comes home the race winner for the NASMAR Community Cup Series playoff race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Martin Truex Jr. finishes second. Bubba Wallace needed a good point today, and so did Tyler Reddick. So the 2311 cars, looks like they got both of them in the championship 4 at the moment. Bubba Wallace getting a third place finish. Kevin Harvick still 8th in points after a 4th place run. Kyle Larson finishes in 5th. Ryan Blaney gets a 6th place finish. Denny Hamlin holds on, still gets a top 10 out of it. He finishes 7th. Brad Keselowski has a solid day in 8th. Tyler Reddick 9th. And Carson Hocevar in all 3 stages finishes 10th. So 10th place in the final results for him. Chase Briscoe finishing 11th, and Austin Cindric gets a top 12 finish. He finishes the race in 12th spot. So decent day for him. And we'll wait. Should show us the rest of the results in a moment. Yeah, here we go. Corey LaJoie gets 13th. Ryan Newman, as I was saying, I was having a heck of a day. He finishes 14th. Ross Chastain all the way back in 15th. Michael McDowell finishes 16th. AJ Allmendinger in 17th. Justin Haley 18th. Eric Almirola was also having a top 10 run at one point. He drops all the way to 19th. Austin Dillon got 20th out of this race. Harrison Burton 21st. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes 22nd. Ryan Preece gets a 23rd place finish. William Byron, after being involved in the big one, finishes deep in the field in 24th position. So not a good day for him. He climbed up a little bit, but not as much as he would have liked. So here's the rest of it. Ty Dillon, quiet all day, finishes 26th. Anthony Alfredo brings it home clean, finishes 27th. Daniel Suarez deep in the field. So Alfredo 26th, Suarez 27th, Yaley 28th. Todd Gilliland ends up in 29th. Alex Bowman did not recover very much from his wreck at all. He finishes 30th. Joey Logano was at least a lap or 2 down by the end of this one. He gets 31st. Chase Elliott finishes 32nd. Chris Buescher gets 33rd. Christopher Bell 34th. Kyle Busch 35th after a win. So he goes from winning to finishing second to last and not even on track. And then Ty Gibbs rounds out the field. So 31 cars were running by the end of the race. So not too much attrition. Good racing all around. This was a pretty good race. I'm going to cover the last few races of the NASMAR season as well. And here, if you've stuck around for the end, assuming any of you did, there might be 1 or 2 of you. Thank you for doing that. You get to hear the announcement. Again, I've already mentioned the race broadcasts that we're hoping to have out soon and that we need announcers. But we do have another podcast planned out. It'll be hosted by GC37. We're still trying to come up with a good name for that. Here on In The Diecast Draft, we focus on more current stop motion races. On his show, which we haven't finalized a name for yet, as I said, we were brainstorming some goofy names and stuff. We were saying the GC97 show because that's a new inside joke we've got there. Tanner Berryhill, am I right? Anyway, stay tuned for that. It's going to be good. He's going to look back at older stop motion races, including his own, and kind of explain the thought process behind some of his races that ended up getting a lot of views. We've seen his cars run the Napa Super Speedway multiple times. put on a great show. He's gotten thousands and thousands of views from that. So he's going to have some episodes out, hopefully, talking about his thought process and experiences with races such as the Recware Racing Shootout, which the driver I signed up for the interactive version ended up winning the stop motion version. So that was fun to watch. That race was insane. He had to film a lot of crashes for that one. But stay tuned for that show. Subscribe and click the bell to get notified for In The Diecast Draft, GC37 show when it comes out. And the thing that we're going to really, really try to push out there, those radio-style broadcasts, those are going to be epic. If you've watched the first 2 episodes, I told you Martinsville. It's going to be a Martinsville race that we're going to go find and call. We have it picked out already. He's going to anchor up in the booth, and I'll be out in, I think, turns 1 and 2, so to speak. So get ready for that. This was the longest episode, actually. But probably a good chunk of it was me rambling like this. But I also did cover the race. So yeah, this will wrap up our 26-minute episode here. My fingers are numb at this point. I'm going to go back inside now and hopefully get this up. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And if you've watched all the way here, leave a comment down below. Thank you for giving us this watch time. And until next time, possibly tomorrow, we'll see. Snuffy is signing off.